Hello, everybody. I'm Professor Bence from Hungary. So, I'm going to be giving you some lectures about three subjects. It's going to be about anatomy, histology, and also embryology. So these are the foundations of the basics of the medical life. So unfortunately, you cannot really go into deeper clinical knowledge without establishing a baseline, and that's why I'm here to help you. It can be overwhelming at first. So if you start with these new things, not only anatomy, also there are a lot of other subjects. So it is really beneficial to get a head start, I would say. So these summer courses, what J&D Elite Premed is basically giving you, can be really beneficial. Just a short summary of me or a short introduction. I'm quickly going to share my screen.
Oh, sorry, just a second.
Yeah, sure, no worries. Thank you.
Mhm.
So theoretically, it should be visible right now.
Uh, mhm.
Okay, perfect. So I just quickly show my LinkedIn profile with you. So as you can see, I'm an assistant professor at the University of Pécs. So I'm sure that you are familiar with the four main Hungarian universities that provide general medicine and dentistry studies, and also there is a fifth that provide veterinarian medicine. Last year we had one guy getting into veterinarian medicine. So I finished I finished my graduate studies in 2021, and since then I have been teaching anatomy, and I'm also a board member and actually the secretary for the undergraduate research society, and I'm also an advisor to the alumni office. And as you can see, I started last year in the J&D Elite Pre-Med, so this is going to be my second year working with you guys closely. Something new that wasn't true last year. I also enrolled in the Masters in Medical Education program in the University of Oxford. So sometimes I also travel there to learn a bit more about how we can make medical education a bit better for you guys. A little bit about the program. So just a quick introduction. This one here is about anatomy. So I'm going to make it bigger for you because I don't think you can see it. So my main thinking is that I want to build upon the already established knowledge that you have from high school and then broaden it and basically do everything that you will do in the first year of medical school. So first, I'm going to give you the basic principles and terminology. Then we are going to talk a little bit about the orientation, the direction, axis, and the planes. So basically how you describe a movement in the tri-dimensional place. And also after that, the basic functions of the human body, the musculoskeletal system. In the first year of medical school, this is going to be the most rigorous part. So you're going to learn about all of the muscles and the bones. So this is also something I want to give you. And then afterwards, just some basic angiology and basic neurology. I do not want to go into great detail because you will have time for that in the later years of medical school. And I added something which is, I think, really important. I also will talk a little bit about the ethical aspects of the cadaver donation and dissection, because all four of the actually all five, if you also consider the veterinarian school, we use human body donations and human cadaver dissection. So I want to talk a little bit about that aspect as well, to include everything in a whole, because it can be a little bit overwhelming for a first-year medical student if you go into the dissection room and you see a human body, for example, for the first time. After that, I'm just quickly going to go into embryology. So in embryology, we are going to cover the basics. So first, what are the basic terms that you need to know? So there are some really funny nomenclature that may be unfamiliar for you. So I will familiarize you with the terminology. Then we are going to talk a little bit about the progenesis, so how the ovum and how the spermatocytes are evolving. Then we are going to talk a little bit about the hormonal cycles, ovulation, fertilization, gastrulation and urolation. So basically how the body cavities are formed and how your nervous system is going to be formed. Then we talk a little bit about the placenta and then the organ development. And at the end, I try to give you an overview how a newborn should look like. And then we're going to go into histology. And in histology, we are going to cover the same things. So basics first, and then I'm going to talk about how we do a histological preparation. So if you have, like, let's say a piece of organ, how can we get into the slides? So how do we make the histological slides? How do we slice them? How do we stain them? Afterwards, I'm going to talk about the four main tissue types. And then as you can see, I'm going to talk about the four main tissue types in greater detail. So this is just a basic overview. I'm going to send to Jonah and to Kim so I made the whole weeks. I did a whole syllabus. I'm going to send it to Jonah and Dana, and then they are going to disclose it with you as well. So this is just a general introduction, and this is what I wanted to tell you at the beginning. And Jonah, do we do the questions now or at the end after everybody introduced themselves?
I think introducing themselves might take a little bit too much time. So we'll just go through any general questions that the students might have.
Okay. So
for
if you have
example,
any questions,
I believe Page University does not have anatomy on the first semester. Is that correct?
it is correct. So we have three programs. We have the Hungarian, the English, and also the German program. And purely from a logistical standpoint, the English program starts at the second semester.
And is it okay if I add a little bit more information to what you've already given us? So for example, the reason why we're not going deeply into neuro is because I believe neuro is a third semester topic for all three universities as well. So you can learn about neuro right now if you want to, but it will be difficult, and that information is going to be, how can I say this, not as directly used in the first or the second semester that you're going to be attending university right away.
Exactly, and I'm going to, so we are going to talk about that. So there is a 1.5 week covering neuroanatomical topics, but the main thing is about the musculoskeletal system, the joints, the movements, and also the muscles and the innervation of these muscles. This is how so basically Debrecen University, Szeged University, and Pécs University, this is completely the first year. In Budapest University, so in the Semmelweis University, there is a slight overlap because they are doing it a little bit differently than the other three universities, but I tried to accommodate all four universities.
And are the anatomy, histology, and embryology classes all separate, or are some of the subjects put together as one class?
They're subdivided into different classes, but I would really like to think of the whole thing as a holistical one unit. So it is really beneficial for you guys, for the students to learn it as one. Yes, it is subdivided into different classes, but everything is interconnected.
잠깐만. I believe histology and embryology are grouped as a single class, right? Per page?
Sorry, one more time.
Embryology and histology is one class. Anatomy is a separate class.
Yes, actually, it is incorporated into histology. And again, Budapest University have it a little bit different because they have macroscopic anatomy and microscopic anatomy. So they don't really divide it into histology and embryology and anatomy. They say this is macroscopic anatomy, so what you can see with your naked eye, and then there's microscopic anatomy.
I believe Semmelweis University groups anatomy and embryology together. I believe histology is a separate class there.
Yes.
So regardless, these three are going to be all one class. Do you have any question from the audience regarding anatomy? Study tips? What to study? How to study? No? Do you have to study?
Rigorously. So it's not easy. So there is, especially in anatomy, you don't really have to understand it that deeply because at the end of the day, it is simple, I would say. So if you have a basic mechanical understanding how a muscle is moving, then it's not going to be that hard to understand. But there are so many structures that it's really hard to memorize all of them. So I would suggest to do learning cards. Learning cards are really helpful nowadays, I would say. So flashcards, this is something that I would recommend for you for anatomy. And also, maybe it's not the most modern type of education, but also the lectures are really, really important to attend to.
I see. What about like technologically kind of augmented type of education? Like, do you prefer any like programs or what students might have in their iPads? Is there anything that you would suggest?
Yes, so I also included it in this syllabus. There are some really good freeware softwares as well. So, for example, there is the so-called humananatomylearning.com, where you can see almost everything in three-dimensional plane. But all four of the universities will supply you with some online learning programs as well. It's different for every university, so it's not unanimous in Hungary what we use. For example, in Szeged University, they made a new software about some photogrammetrical, basically new three-dimensional atlas, and we are also in page developing something like this. And I heard that the University of Budapest is also doing something similar. So there are some new programs as well, but the basics, you have to have an anatomical atlas. So it's still the gold standard. There are some really good ones. I suggest to get the Sobota Atlas or the Yokochi Rohan's Atlas. I'm going to show it during my classes, and I will help you to also get access to it prematurely.
Oh, thank you. And since the students have their written exam and oral exam in 1 or 2 weeks, would you have any tips or suggestions for those kind of preparations, especially since the students are kind of new to the entire concept of an oral exam?
Yes. First and foremost, don't overstress. I think all of us are interested in what you know and not what you don't know. So we are going to try to make this whole entry exam a nice experience. So we don't really want to discourage you from coming to us. I don't really think that there is going to be a problem. Try to be as direct as you can. So if you receive a question, do not start from Adam and Eve. Try to answer that question directly. So this is something that I have seen in the last few years, that students try to oversell themselves, if it makes sense. So do not try to oversell yourself. Try to answer the question directly. And of course, if you have to talk about yourself, you can include some interesting things as well, but try to remain on track and try to be purely academical.
Okay. Do you have any questions for the students?
Actually, if I can ask, is some of you registering for the University of Page? Just hands up if you are.
패치가 대학교 시험 신청한 학생들.
Nice, nice. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we will not only see each other in the online environment, also next year we are going to see each other in person.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, thank you, Professor, for your time. We hope to see you again in summer. I hope you have a good rest of the day. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Have a great day.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Szabolcs Beni, and I'm going to be your chemistry teacher during the summer. So as I was asked, I would like to give you like a brief intro what you are going to learn during this chemistry course. So if I may share my screen. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. So I don't want to read it as it is because it might sound a bit boring, but what I want to emphasize is the following. At the moment, we have 16 topics. It does not necessarily mean that we will have exactly these 16 different classes step by step, one after the other. Because the very first one, I just numbered it as number 0. We need some basics of general chemistry. So the major goal, and it is irrespective whether a veterinary school or a pharmacy school or a medicine school, is to understand the most complicated chemistry-related topics. And to do so, you have to have a very solid background in basic chemistry. So definitely the most difficult one is organic chemistry. And organic chemistry also builds a lot on the basic concepts of general chemistry. So my goal is to start with some summary of general chemistry facts, basic concepts like the acid-base reactions, the redox reactions, the general description of the equilibria, some kinetics and thermodynamics. It really and strongly depends on your background knowledge. If that's excellent, then we can skip it easily. If you need some more foundation, then we will address 1 or 2 weeks to make you familiar with all of those. Why? Because biochemistry, what I would call the highest level of chemistry in all of those fields of healthcare somehow, needs all of these basic concepts. So after the familiarization with these basics, we will switch to organic chemistry, and we will definitely describe the basics of the organic compounds from the very first principles, from the stereochemistry point of view, the hybridization of the carbon atom, and all of the possible isomerization. And what is the challenging one is the nomenclature of organic compounds. Thereafter, we will jump into the different functional groups, and we will go through all of the major classes based on their chemical features. So describing their preparation, describing their most important chemical reactions. And if you are done with all of those, we'll have examples, and those examples are definitely picked from the field of medicine. So generally speaking, we have a bunch of interesting aromatic compounds, millions and millions of those, but I'm going to pick only some of those which are present either as a side chain of an amino acid or a very basic element in a protein, or a basic fragment of a drug, just to understand how and why they behave in a specific reaction or under specific circumstances in a way we learn. So therefore, study material will be provided in advance. So you will have the slides and you can add a lot of notes to the slides. We are going to write quite a lot of reactions and reaction mechanisms, because that's the one which helps you to build some confidence in chemistry. And that's the most important thing, that you have to have that knowledge. If I'm talking about, let's say, aldehydes, and I'm saying how to oxidize an aldehyde, you have to be familiar with the terms aldehyde, a general formula, even one of the most important aldehyde present in the biological systems, and their chemical reactions. So thereafter, we are moving even closer to the biochemistry, when we go and incorporate the heteroatoms into those chemical compounds. So we will talk about the nitrogen and sulfur containing compounds. So we will learn a lot about amino acids and the proteins. And thereafter, some reaction mechanisms and types of reactions. And we will characterize at the end the most important carboxylic acids, carboxamides, carbonic acids, and amines. This is hopefully going to be much more than you need as basics. So this will help you and provide you already a study guide throughout the first 2 semesters, irrespective whether it's a medical school or it's a dentistry or a pharmacy or a veterinary medicine, because these topics are more or less involved in any of those fields. When you have to, let's say, go to an oral exam, or you will have a written test or a multiple choice, picking the right compounds or picking the right names or picking the right products of a chemical reaction. So I would like to make this class interactive in a way that I keep asking students throughout the entire class whether they know how to translate that reaction into a general term, or how you name the reaction product, or what do you think what is going to be the outcome, or just simply how it relates to the medical field. Because, you know, chemistry is not changing day by day. Carbon can still make 4 covalent bonds. That's what we know since more than 100 years. But still, if you cannot relate an alcohol with the physiology, if you cannot relate the active center of a protein as an enzyme or as a receptor, how does it fit into a biological system, then chemistry won't be your favorite. So my goal is to give you that basics in order to enjoy the chemistry classes throughout your university studies. So I guess that's all what I wanted to talk about the syllabus. I have these in much more detail. I can provide it and you can distribute among yourselves. So as soon as we have a more precise date, which day and what kind of classes I'm going to start with, I'm going to provide you the very first presentations as a PDF or a PPT as you prefer, and then you will have the chance to either read in advance or just simply take the notes. Recommended literature, I would say my lectures themselves should be more than enough to understand all of those facts, but we have very big general chemistry books, which will definitely include all of those facts, as well as organic chemistry ones, but those are far beyond the knowledge you have to know. So therefore, when I'm going to talk about, let's say, hybridization of the carbon, I will recommend you, or I will send you an extra PDF, like a book chapter, which will help you to understand step by step in detail. Sometimes I have the experience that you guys more or less understand what I'm speaking about, but it comes handy if you have a written a little bit long sentences, explanatory sentences, again, the facts. So therefore, I'm going to send you the relevant chapters in order to understand it in more detail.
Okay, does anyone have any question regarding organic chemistry for Professor Benny?
Feel free to do so.
Well, the thing is, the students have a written exam in the next week or the next 2 weeks. Would you have any suggestions or, I guess, kind of experience of what a good student is or what a bad student is when it comes to oral exam?
Well, I would start with the oral exam because I have much more experience with that, and that's a more personal relation. So first of all, my suggestion would be check the topic list. So I do have the feeling that some of the student, when let's say pick online, or simply just will be given a topic, seems like they are shocked that, oh my God, I have to talk about the aromatic compounds, or I have to talk about amino acids. So check the topic list and prepare yourself in a way that irrespective which topic you will pick or you have to talk about, you will have 3 or 5 sentences what you must provide for the examiner, irrespective what he or she is asking. You have to collect the very basic facts. Let's say you are going to pick the oxygen containing compounds. Then you have to know already there are major groups like alcohols, ethers, aldehydes, ketones, and carboxylic acids. So focus in a way that you will have a topic list, and be prepared that you will have nicely formulated sentences providing a lot of chemical facts in advance. That's one important suggestion. The other one, don't try to focus to your chemistry book only. So if you will be asked about carbohydrates like sugars, try to connect it somehow with biology, for example, or with human disease. So if biology will be asked and your question is going to be, let's say, what is the reason of high blood sugar level, or simply what do you know about diabetes? You have to know a little bit about the chemistry related part of that. So if you are talking about the bones, or if you are talking about the skeletal muscle, you have to explicitly explain that you know the chemistry as well. So you know that calcium ions will play a critical role in muscle contraction, or calcium is an important inorganic substance or ingredient in the mineralization of the bones. So try to interconnect chemistry with biology as much as possible. So regarding the test, the most difficult ones are, as far as I know, the multiple choice questions. So multiple choice questions are tough because sometimes you know some of the answers and some you don't. So as you can easily guess based on your preliminary knowledge, don't leave any questions blank, because it is going to help for the examiner to understand, okay, maybe the answer was wrong, but maybe you already knew 2/3 of the question. You just missed 1/3 of it. So don't leave it blank if you don't know exactly which ones are the correct answers. Try to answer all as you believe is the best.
And just because this is a frequent question that the students keep asking every time,
yes.
How many score out of 20 for each subject would you consider to be good? Because like biology, there's 20 questions, chemistry, there's 20 questions, so on and so forth. So out of the 20, what score would you consider to be, or as an oral examiner to say that it's good?
That's a tough question, but if you really want to hear a number, I would say 15 or above.
Thank you.
Is it something shocking or it's still acceptable?
No, the students just don't believe me. They just have a hard time trusting the words that I say. I just needed someone with better credibility to. Everything today has already been said before. They just wanted to hear it from someone with a how can I say this, heavier status than I am. Right?
Correct.
They're stressing too much. That's why. Yeah.
I must admit that generally speaking about Korean students, they perform, or let's say outperform of the others in terms of knowing facts. But generally speaking, they underperform when it comes about self-confidence. So during an oral exam, they know probably much more what they provide. So that's my general experience. So if you can improve that, if you can learn a little bit more self-confidence, I'm pretty sure it will earn you several extra points.
Do you have any questions for the students?
At the moment, I don't, but I would like to do some question and answers regarding their preliminary knowledge. What I can do during the very first class, but what I experienced in the last few years, that their English improved a lot since let's say 2015. So earlier I had the feeling that they know chemistry very well, but the same thing explaining in English was really hard for them. So if they want to prepare for even the pre-med course during the summer, I would say just simply go online and listen a chemistry class from a certain university, irrespective whether it's a medical university or just pick a very fancy Harvard or MIT class where English is the primary language and chemistry facts are explained in English. That will help you to be more confident.
Okay, thank you, Professor Benny, for your time. Let's have a round of applause.
Thank you very much.
See you again in the summer.
We'll be there. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, guys, good afternoon, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the previous sessions about the different boring subjects, because now the really interesting stuff is coming. So I don't know what to say. I mean, there are two parts what I'm gonna tell you. First, a few advices for the coming exams, and the other one, of course, about the summer preparatory course. I'm going to start with the second one. Okay, so the preparatory course. This course is about molecular cell biology. And what I see about this course is that I don't want to say anything wrong, okay, about any other subject, because all the subjects are very important. However, if you open any kind of scientific paper or modern textbooks even, you will see that what happened in the past 20, 25 years in molecular biology is amazing, is astonishing. And it's not a pure science thing. These are really and immediately achievements what we can use in the medical field. Sometimes between the discovery of a new molecular biology molecular pathway or mechanism comes to the bedside in hospitals in a few years. Previously, that was like 20 or 30 years gap between the original discovery and once we see that, okay, we can do something with that. Nowadays, it accelerated. Just think about the CRISPR-Cas9 system. Maybe you've heard about this molecular tool to edit the genomic material that was discovered like 10 years ago, let's say, okay? And 2 years later, Nobel Prize was given for the discovery. And another 1 year later, the first therapies came to the everyday life. So extremely fast connection between basic science and medical sciences. And molecular biology, that's why I would say that one of the most exciting field of medicine, because if you open an anatomy book, let's say, which was written 50 years ago or even 100 years ago, you can pass on the exam with that book. Try to do this in molecular biology. So it doesn't work. And since in the basic module of the medical universities or even in the WET, molecular biology is everywhere, a key subject. Sometimes it is in one subject like molecular biology. Sometimes it is combined like molecular and cell biology. Sometimes it is combined with biochemistry or pathobiochemistry. So basically, you will learn molecular biology in the first 2 years, at least 2 different subjects, sometimes 3 different subjects. Of course, from different perspectives, from different overviews, points. But the basic concept is that in the first year, in the first 2 years, let's say, you have to have exams. You have to have deep insight into molecular biology, as I mentioned, in several subjects. So this course tried to cover the most important concepts of molecular biology. I just made a short list about, and I'm going to send it via the chat, the PDF version of that one-pager, just to highlighting really what we're going to cover in this course: the DNA replication and the repair mechanism, the RNA metabolism, the complete RNA metabolism, protein life cycle, gene expression patterns, cell biology, meaning the different membranes and the different organelles, cell death, the cell cycle processes, viruses, virus molecular biology, and the microbiome, which is amazing new field of biology and amazing new field of therapy as well, because now the microbiome is, let's say, in the first line of new therapeutic approaches. So these are the basic topics what we're gonna cover in this course, and I really hope that with all these strong backgrounds from that molecular biology, your life will be much easier once you enter the university, because, as I mentioned, this is basically at least 2 subjects materials, what we of course not cover fully, but what I try to give you a strong background.
Is it okay if I ask a few questions?
Yeah, sure.
In the university, or at least all the 3 universities, there is no separate biology class. They usually have cell science as the kind of replacement for the biology, right? So how is the level of cell science or molecular cell in terms of difficulty harder than what we would have learned during the pre-med course? How would they differ in terms of that sort of difficulty?
I have a bad news, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, indeed. It's more. What we covered in the pre-med course, this is a strong foundation. Okay, that is necessary for the entrance exam. However, whenever you see a subject, what is necessary for entering the university, and the subject which is actually taught at the university, you will see that there is a huge gap. Okay, so at the university, you will learn all these things in a much more detailed form. And of course, every time, and that is the point, every time when you study something, we try to give you a hint how that theoretical part is connected to real medicine. So it's not enough to say that, okay, the DNA repair mechanism is a mechanism which could, fix the problems during or after the replication. It's nice. The point is, how can we use that knowledge? What are the therapeutical approaches? What kind of anti-cancer or any other drugs can be designed based on that knowledge? And I think that the major difference is maybe that one, that in the pre-med course, you got an overall general knowledge about biology in our case. But at the university, you focus more on the medical approaches, and that's very important.
I see. And molecular cell biology, I wouldn't like to compare any subjects, but when it comes to like memorization, because anatomy is notorious for heavy memorization, is molecular cell science, is it more or less in that sort of regard?
I would say that it's different. I would say that anatomy is the only one subject which is based on pure memorization. So this is what I see, and this is what I see from my students, basically, that the students who are coming to study biochemistry, and there is a huge part of biochemistry, which is now molecular biology, actually. So the students, when are coming to study biochemistry in the same way, memorizing, they fail.
Yeah.
So this is not a subject what you can memorize. This is a subject you have to understand. And that is the basic difference. So memorizing enzymes or even structures and reactions or it's not the thing what we want you to do. We want you to do to understand how the genetic information is stored, how the genetic information is transmitted to another level, to RNA, to protein level, how these proteins, the whole gene expression, how it's regulated, what is the point behind all these, and not only seeing the processes, but how it is regulated, how that could change, how that could somehow adapt to a different situation, because that is what's happening in a living system. And molecular and cell biology is about a living system, not about structures, not about just as I mentioned, listing names and memorizing a dictionary. No, it's about understanding how life is going on. I think that's the major difference, and that needs a completely different perspective from the students.
I see. I agree as well. I guess since the students are going to be taking the entrance exam very soon, and not just the entrance exam, but just for what they're supposed to do at university, what should they be prepared for, assuming that they didn't take any of the summer courses? At what level should they be prepared so that they would do well in their university career?
It's difficult. I mean, it's really difficult to say. I mean, what I see is that now I've met almost all of your students in person, in one-to-one sessions, whatever. I see that the students are up. They're different. I mean, that's normal. They're different.
Yes.
So I think that everyone will have some difficulty at the university. That's for sure. I mean, it's not a fairy tale. Okay, so this is reality. And everyone will have different difficulties at the university.
Yes.
Some maybe would suffer because of the language barriers. Some maybe suffer because of the intro or extroverted, personality. Whether you are able, as I've just heard from the anatomy professors, you are able to express yourself. And it's not only about language, it's about your personality. So, and of course, there are so many other factors. Studying, I mean, what you have to see is that, and that's every time I emphasize it, it's difficult. Okay, yeah, it's difficult, but it's doable. And yes, the regular basis, studying in a regular basis, that's very important. However, when you come to the university, we, professors and teachers, we actually give you that regular basis of studying, because every week there is a kind of assignment, every week there is a short test, every week there's something. So we press you study week by week, not only at the end of the semester. So that's like that. And the level you will see that in some cases, when we see in the summer course of molecular biology, I would like to give you a knowledge in certain parts of that course, which is enough right now, enough to pass even in a molecular biology exam. In other parts, however, not, because as I mentioned, there are so many connections to medical fields, and that's what you can get only when you are at the university, because you have to study lots of other subjects as well. Okay,
I see.
So this is how I see it.
Okay. Do you have any questions for the students, or does any student have questions for the professor? Okay, in that case, yeah, we'll see you again during the summer, and yeah, I hope everyone does well in the exams as well. Thank you for your time,
guys. Yes, thank you very much, and really, I really much hope that you will be succeeding in the coming exam period. I know you, and I know that you are very smart and hardworking guys. And I'm really sad that not all of you are coming to Page, because I will be very happy to see you here in Page. But nevertheless, just go for it, okay? And you can do this.
all right.
Yes,
Thank you
hope
very
for the
much.
best.